Some 1,500 police officers cornered the suspects early today in this printing house 30 miles from Paris with their hostage, as another hostage situation also unfolded in downtown Paris. The two brothers, Saeed and Sharif Kawachi, told police they wanted to die as martyrs. The two had been under surveillance by French police for years and were on a U.S. no-fly list. In early 2011, the older brother, Saeed, reportedly traveled to Yemen and trained with an al-Qaeda-affiliated group led by Anwar al-Awlaki, the U.S.-born Islamic preacher who was killed that same year in a CIA drone strike. Saeed's younger brother, Sharif, was arrested in 2008 for trying to join up with Islamic fighters in Iraq. While in prison, he reportedly shared a cell with a key al-Qaeda operative. The French-born sons of Algerian parents are the main suspects in Wednesday's shooting that killed 12 people at Charlie Hebdo, a newspaper that often made fun of Islam and its prophet Mohammed. In Paris and cities across France, people are gathering to pay tribute to those killed at the French magazine.
I'm an art student. We stress freedom when we study art. This attack is shocking. I wrote on the note that we must struggle for freedom from beginning to end.
Meanwhile, in a rare public speech, the head of British intelligence says that al-Qaeda in Syria is plotting large-scale public attacks on transport systems and famous targets in the West. His warning comes as European spy agencies worry about the increasing threat from homegrown jihadists, especially those returning from battlefields in Syria and Iraq. The numbers are alarming. 600 British, 550 German, and some 1,200 French citizens are believed to be fighting in Syria. The big concern is someday they'll return home to their European capitals even more radicalized and ready to kill. Hours after the massacre in Paris, the terror group known as ISIS, or Islamic State, hailed the two brothers as heroic jihadists. An ISIS cleric reportedly said his group was responsible for the attack, saying, "We started with a France operation for which we take responsibility. Tomorrow we'll be in Britain, America, and others." Heather Sells, CBN News.
Well, this is more evidence that Islam is not a religion of peace. It seems to spontaneously produce homicidal maniacs who want to come and kill people and kill them in the name of Allah and say, all we're doing is jihad, and we're somehow giving the faith responsible for this a pass. You keep hearing over and over again that Islam is a religion of peace. Well, if that's the case, why does Islam seem to produce this kind of radical terror? What's behind it? And just to say, well, this is some radical group or these are insane people, I don't think covers it, because at its fundamental core, it seems to want to produce this kind of thing. It's not isolated. It seems to be happening wherever there are Muslims. There seems to be this radicalization, and then it seems to lead to murder on a regular basis. The other thing here is, we're looking at it as a free speech issue, and this is somehow trying to stop free speech, and these are radicals trying to do this. Here's a piece of information you may not have heard. The French Council of Muslim Faith and the Grand Mosque in both Paris and Lyon had unsuccessfully sued the same magazine to stop the publication. So they were trying legal means. When those failed, the offices of this magazine were firebombed, and now it's worldwide news. You've got 12 people dead in a massacre. There was an escalation. It started off with a lawsuit. It started off with protests. Then it turned to firebombing. The members of this publication were all under police protection, and it did them no good. And at the end, what's so-called religion of peace seemed to want to stop whatever publication they were doing. If you want to find out more about Islam, we've got something for you. It's called Islam, Religion of Peace or War. Why is ISIS literally following the exact words of the Quran? when they behead people? What is behind it? What are the verses that they're quoting? Why does it seem to be such a problem today? If you want to know more information, the booklet's free. We can send it to you right now if you want to download it on cbn.com, or you can just call us. We'll mail you a free copy of it. 1-800-759-0700. Well, in other news, the radical Islamic group Boko Haram has launched another major attack in Nigeria. John Jessup has that story from our CBN News Bureau in Washington. John?
Thanks, Gordon. Boko Haram reportedly has killed hundreds of people in a deadly assault, possibly up to 2,000 after overrunning a military base in northeast Nigeria. The BBC reports almost an entire town had been torched and that the bodies were left rotting in the streets. Boko Haram wants to establish an Islamic government in the northeast region of that country. Christian persecution is on the rise around the world, and radical Islam, according to a new report, is the driving force. CBN's George Thomas has that story.
From the Middle East to sub-Saharan Africa, Christians are enduring attacks for their faith like never before.
The persecution of Christians is real, it is horrifically violent often, and it is spreading at an unprecedented rate in modern times.
Dr. David Curry is president of Open Doors, a group that monitors religious freedom worldwide. He says Christians face the most persecution in 2014 than in any other year in recent history.
We have seen the sharpest jump in violent attacks against Christians in the modern era.
Open Doors reports that 4,344 Christians were killed for their faith in 2014, double the number in 2013.
These aren't Christians who are collateral damage in a larger war. These are people who are targeted because they choose to worship Jesus, because they want to read a Bible, and that's shocking.
On Wednesday, the group released its annual World Watch list, ranking the top 50 countries where Christians face the most persecution. North Korea topped the list once again for the 13th year in a row, with some 70,000 Christians reportedly languishing in prison camps.
The government has a paranoia about any ideology which they see as a threat to their cult worship of their leaders. And so they rank enemies of the state. Christians are the #1 enemy of the state in North Korea.
Rounding the top 10 worst violators are Somalia, Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan, Sudan, Iran, Pakistan, Eritrea, and Nigeria. But in a majority of the countries, Curry says elements of one religion above all poses the greatest threat to Christians.
Islamic extremism is a driving force, is really the driving force in 40 of the top 50 countries on the World Watch list.
The majority of the deaths last year happened in Nigeria, where kidnappings and murders by the Islamic group Boko Haram killed 2,484 Christians.
Nigeria needs prayers. Nigeria needs prayers.
Damaris Atson has experienced Boko Haram's wrath firsthand. In 2010, her husband was stabbed to death by the Islamic fighters. She said it has taken the grace of God to forgive her husband's killers.
If I do not forgive, the Lord will not forgive me. So I have to forgive, because Jesus teaches us to forgive one another.
Meanwhile, the terrorist group known as Islamic State, or ISIS, continues to drive hundreds of thousands of Christians from Syria and Iraq. Curry worries their success at targeting minority faiths is giving impetus to other radical groups to pursue similar tactics around the world.
So you have the Islamic State, their tactics, their methodology now being adopted by Boko Haram, by Al-Shabaab, and others. And so I think this means that while this year was the worst ever, things look very troubling for years to come.
Open Doors says the World Watch list is a wake-up call to the tragic suffering of Christians around the world.
We need to make the persecuted church an issue of prayer and a support because there's a genocide happening.
George Thomas, CBN News.
The music world has lost a legend. Gospel singer and songwriter Andre Crouch died Thursday after being admitted to the hospital following a heart attack last weekend. Over the course of his career, Crouch worked with stars like Michael Jackson, Madonna, and Barbara Mandrell. He was also a frequent guest here on the 700 Club. Ephraim Graham has this look at his life, his ministry, and legacy.
Now is the day of salvation. My God speaks to every nation.
Andre Crouch earned his position as the father of modern gospel with hits like Soon and Very Soon. Through it all, and can't nobody do me like Jesus. It's a legendary career that began when the California native wrote his first hit at just 14, not long after overcoming a stuttering problem. It's a problem that started at 3, when he was nearly kidnapped outside his parents' dry cleaning business.
My folks saw him carrying me across the street because they heard me let out a yell, and the guy dropped me. And I remember then is when I started stuttering.
Andre and his twin sister Sandra grew up singing in the church their parents started, and music proved to be the key to ending his stuttering.
My father, with the wisdom of my father, he said, Andre, you never stutter when you sing. Why don't you act like you're singing when you answer a question? That's the way I started singing, and that's the way I got out of stuttering. So everything sounded like music.
Crouch called his music ability a miracle. He was a master on the piano without ever studying it or reading music. At just 11, his father called him to the front of the church, told him to play, and he did.
All night, all day, angels watching over me, my Lord.
An incredible career followed, from countless hits with his group Andre Crouch and the Disciples. Then 18 solo albums, 9 Grammy Awards, and an honorary Artist in Residence Award from Regent University's International Center of Worship. Still, at the height of his music career, Crouch slowed down on singing and began preaching. He joined his sister to pastor New Christ Memorial Church after they lost their mom and dad to cancer in 1992, and then their older brother a year later. It's a calling Pastor Andre said God had to literally knock him down in the middle of worship to accept.
I heard his voice say, okay, Mr. Through It All, Mr. Soon and Very Soon, Mr. Take Me Back. You know, name songs. He said, you will not get up from this floor until you tell me yes.
His music career may have slowed down in the 90s, but he was inducted into the Gospel Music Hall of Fame in 1998, and he earned a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2003.
So whenever anybody passes that and they say, who's Andre Crouch? They said, well, he's thinking about Jesus Christ. That's the part that I'm grateful about.
And his music legacy will live on.
Take me back, dear Lord, to the place where I first received you.
And he did indeed leave us all with an amazing legacy. Music legend Andre Crouch was 72. Gordon, my dad was a worship leader, and a lot of his songs were staples in the church when I was growing up.
Well, he's written the songbook for all of us. Most of the songs the church was singing in the 70s and 80s, Andre Crouch was part of. He left an amazing legacy. And I love what he said. They'll pass by that star and they'll say, he sang about Jesus. We'll be right back with more of the 700 Club after this.
There's something that's missing, and I want to tell you that something missing is Jesus.
It was the beginning of a road of redemption for me.
There's forgiveness, there's a new life, there's everything in trusting God. Just take that one step, that's all it takes.
I felt like a new person, brand new creation. I felt like I had had a weight lifted off my shoulders.
I'll not be focusing on what I want today. I'm focused on what God wants.
Selma is now for every man.
Mr. President, we need your help.
You got one issue, I got 101.
People are dying.
Dr. King.
Tiring of this. Eyes on the prize pot.
White, blacks, if you believe, come to Selma.
I couldn't just stand by.
Looks like an army out there.
His troops is marching on! Selma, rated PG-13, now playing.
Monday, they were $50,000 in debt.
We needed a miracle.
She was bringing in $35 a day.
We wanted the blessings of God on our lives.
Meet real people who took a leap of faith.
I was just like, we have to do this.
And made a divine investment.
I've seen my business grow and grow and grow, and it just, keeps on growing.
Monday on the 700 Club. Well, they're saying sitting is the new smoking. So if you need more motivation to get moving, you've got it now. Exercise is not just vital to losing weight, it's a key component to fighting illness and protecting your overall health. Exercise. It's in our DNA. We are made to move, and movement keeps your immune system functioning at peak performance. Unfortunately, only about half of us exercise regularly, which is a problem because scientists now tell us that sitting is the new smoking. Dr. James Levine is an endocrinologist at the world-famous Mayo Clinic. He spent the last 15 years researching what a sedentary lifestyle does to the body.
What's become clear over the last decade is that our chairs are literally killing us. Excessive sitting is shaving, knocking, taking years of our lives.
People who don't exercise get sick more often than people who do. In fact, when inactive people were compared to those who walked briskly almost every day, those who didn't walk took twice as many sick days in 4 months as those who did. Exercise increases blood flow, which helps expel toxic waste from the body. That also means disease-fighting antibodies and immune-boosting white blood cells will move through the body faster. That way, they can detect and kill infections sooner.
If we can help people get out of their chairs, not only are the rewards the reversal of all these catastrophic health problems, but a true sense of happiness.
Exercise also helps you sleep better, which improves your ability to fight infection. In order to reap the benefits of exercise, you need consistency. For many of us, that means first thing in the morning. Just make sure you choose an activity you enjoy.
That is the most important thing. The data are very clear. If you encourage people to do things they hate, guess what? They won't do it.
If you're struggling to find an exercise you like, then work out with people you like. It might not be the exercise, but the friendships that keep you coming back for more. And as a bonus, they'll hold you accountable. So get a walking buddy or attend a group exercise class. For some people, exercising in water works best. That's because we feel much lighter in the pool. In fact, water's buoyancy displaces 85% of our body weight. That makes it easier and less painful.
Many people have actual arthritis where the joints themselves are being damaged. But in addition to that, and it is actually very poorly reported, many of my patients with excess body weight, many of my patients battling with obesity actually have early arthritis called arthropathy, where the joints have started to see damage but not on the X-ray. And for all of these patients, and for those with diabetes who really are unable to do exertional exercise, the swimming pool is an oasis of joy.
Keep your workouts moderate. High-intensity training can decrease the amount of white blood cells circulating through the body and actually increase your risk of illness. Some people can't or don't want to carve out time just for exercise. They'd rather multitask and exercise while they work. Dr. Levine came up with the idea for a treadmill desk 10 years ago. Today, tens of thousands of employees from coast to coast are discovering the benefits of walking while they work.
I think that's really awesome to be able to say, while you accomplish your work, you also walked X amount of miles.
New research shows we all need some exercise at the office, even if we work out later at the gym. That's because sitting for prolonged periods of time causes our bodies to shut down. So if you have a desk job, think of ways to move. It doesn't have to involve a treadmill desk. You can walk over and talk face-to-face instead of sending an email. Use the restroom on the far side of the building. Take a lap or two around your work area every hour. And Dr. Levine's favorite, walk and talk meetings.
When we have deployed walking-based programs in the workplace, and it's not just treadmill desks, it's walk and talk meetings, active workplaces, what others have noticed, and ourselves, is that sick days from employees diminish. People appear to get less coughs, less colds, and less days off work.
Even if you're not walking, simply standing at your desk is better than sitting. Research shows that even while standing, we move around.
And what appears to be the case is once you're off your bottom, great things happen. Once you get up, the future is yours.
So whether it's the gym, home, or office, you'll fight disease and feel great doing it. All right, get up off of that thing. That's our message for you. Sitting is the new smoking, and we want you to have.
Sticker in that.
Well, it's already been taken. There's a wonderful song by James Brown. But anyway, if you want this, we've got it for you. It's Protect Your Health. It's a free DVD, and it's really my journey. I went through a year where I got flu 3 times, and then it turned into bronchitis, and I said, I've got to do something here. And so I went and did some research, and Lori Johnson on staff did some research. And what was the latest medical technologies, theories, and facts about how can we be healthier? And I started doing this on a regular basis. For me, the swimming pool became my oasis of joy. And then I started riding a bike, and it's really transformed me. And so I wanted to share it with you. And it's all free. You can watch the videos online at cbn.com. You can also get it as a DVD. You can share it with others. And if you know someone that's having health problems related from stress and doing too much sitting, it's a nice way to say, here, take a look at this, and it'll change your life. It's all free. Call us, 1-800-759-0700. Terry?
Well, up next, Green Bay's Jordy Nelson talks about taking that famous Lambeau leap 53 times.
There's a rush to it. It's part of the tradition to celebrate with the fans in that way. So we enjoy them. Sometimes they can get crazy, but it's always fun and unique every time.
Well, I am a diehard Crazy Packers fan, and I can't wait to hear more from Jordy Nelson when we come back.
Okay. Get plenty of rest and follow all the instructions on here.
Wow. Thank goodness for all those years of medical school, huh?
Oh, I'm not a doctor, but I do watch the 700 Club.
Protect your health and build a better, stronger immune system. The 700 Club brings you the latest steps to power up your well-being and boost your body's defenses. Experts from the Mayo Clinic.
They're your body's first defense of getting rid of the bugs, germs, bacteria, viruses.
The Cleveland Clinic.
If they can't function, then they can't destroy anything foreign that's in the body.
And many others show you how to live long and strong. Get your free DVD copy of Protect Your Health, 5 Steps to a Healthier Immune System. Call 1-800-759-0700 or log on to cbn.com.
Thanks.
Protect Your Health.
Hey.
Available now.
Wouldn't it be great to win $5,000 a week for life? But wouldn't it be even better if those checks kept on coming even after you're not around?
Are you serious?
It's the Publishers Clearinghouse $5,000 a week forever prize. Win and you get $5,000 a week for your life. Then after that, someone you choose gets $5,000 a week for their life. Leave a legacy for your loved ones. Watch your mail or go to pch.com and enter. February 27th, you could win $5,000 a week forever.
Does God still heal today?
I knew that something miraculous had happened to me.
I was born deaf, and then my ears got healed.
You know, you can put your trust in medicine,
But the ultimate healing is going to have to be God.
When they took that second scan and it came back completely negative, like just gone.
Find out how God still heals today in Pat Robertson's latest teaching, Be Healed, coming January 12th.
Well, if you're a regular viewer of this show, you know I'm a cheesehead.
No.
Yes,
I didn't know.
yes.
Really?
And I will be rooting for the Cowboys when they take on or for the Packers when they take on the Cowboys at Lambeau Field. That's in the playoffs. That's this Sunday afternoon. The Packers are undefeated at home this season, and they're used to playing in frigid temperatures, and the temps are expected to hover below 20 degrees on Sunday. Tom Buehring traveled to Green Bay to talk with one of the Packers' key offensive weapons, Jordy Nelson.
For a game filled with complicated strategy and scheming, receiver extraordinaire Jordy Nelson sidesteps the difficulties with distinct ease.
To me, we've played the game long enough. It's not that hard of a game. It's all about just doing your job and doing it to the best of your ability.
Jordy's simplicity springs far beyond a jersey, from roots that grew deep and genuine. Emerging among the NFL's elite, the Green Bay Packers Pro Bowler has become the model of consistency.
Well, I just hope, people see who I am and understand that the person I say I am and the person I act is the same person. There's no two sides to the story. It's the same person every day.
Jordy's straightforward approach comes from his rural Midwest upbringing, growing up on a Kansas family farm.
What about Jordy the receiver best reflects Jordy the farmer?
I think first is the discipline. I think growing up on a family farm, that's where our income came from. And we relied on everyone to do their part. So you're running some very valuable machinery, working with animals, whatever it is, that you have to be disciplined what you're doing and know what you're doing in order to get it done correctly to provide for the family. And then I think hard work as well. The first thing that comes up about farming is the hard work. So that connection we had as a family of being around each other and relying on